the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to have Father Tommy Dyer say a prayer for us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Holy Lord God, the City Council gathers this evening to do the business of the place that you have established as Port St. Joe. We pray that you would grant them the discernment of your will for this town, for its people, and then give them the strength of faith to step out in that without question. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Now call this meeting of Port St. Joe City Commission in order. First thing we're going to do is have our consent agenda. Minutes from the regular commission meeting on 8/2/16. Also a workshop meeting on 8/10/16. So everybody got a chance to look those over, and I need a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Thursby. Second by Commissioner Ashwood. All in favor say aye. Aye. Passes. All right. At this time, I would break a little bit when we're doing and ask Father Tommy Dyer to come up. He has something he wants to speak about tonight, so we're going to let him go first.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's my privilege to come before you this morning, or this evening rather, to represent the Port St. Joe Ministerial Association. We had our monthly meeting this morning, and being the clergy of the city, we've always been about the idea of what can we do for the community where we live. We've decided the best thing we can do is prayer. And what we would like to do is have use of the Centennial Building, which I spoke to Jim about earlier today, for 1 hour on Monday, September the 13th, beginning at 7 p.m. We have at least 8 clergy from the town that are willing to show up and do absolutely nothing but pray for an hour for this town, for its people, for ourselves and our ministries, for our public servants, our public defenders, and you. And we would really like you to come. This invitation is going to be in the paper. We're hoping you get it in the newspaper, or in the newspaper. We're hoping to get it on the radio, and it's going to be open to the entire city to come and just join us for 1 hour for prayer for our community. There's an awful lot going wrong in the world today, an awful lot, and we're not immune and we're not exempt. But one thing we know is the clergy of this town is that prayer can and will change that. So we want to invite you. And the other thing we would like to offer to you, if you're willing, is to have a member of the Ministerial Association show up for each and every one of your meetings and open them in prayer.
That's been my idea for a while.
Well, I'm glad we're on the same page.
We certainly are. We certainly are. So I agree with you. We do like to open up. Before I start our meetings with a prayer, and Pledge of Allegiance, we do it every time. We do it before our meetings, so a lot of people like to start the meeting, then you say prayers. It might not be a good thing.
Mr. Mayor,
I don't see any problem.
I remember when you brought that up several 2 to 3 years ago, and at that time it was brought to our attention that it could possibly be a conflict in some people's eyes. But in my eyes, I'm all for
That's
it.
why I can't.
Well, I don't care. I don't want us to pray for our city. They need to get rid of me.
Yeah, that's right.
I can tell you unilaterally, the clergy of the town believe that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Did you know that this is only the second nation in the entire history of humankind that was founded on the Almighty God? The other one was Israel.
We can't vote on it tonight because it's not on our agenda for that, but I'm sure nobody's going to have a problem, I guarantee you. But we can have it
13th.
We got another meeting before then, and we'll be sure to get it on the agenda for then, and we can formally vote on it, but I don't see any problem, I mean, I don't think
As well as waive the fees associated with the centennial.
Yeah.
And
We were hoping to that.
And make sure the city's involved in setting up chairs and
Right, whatever
whatever
we
else
do.
they need.
And if y'all would
I
make prayer.
gotta tell you, I'm putting you on the spot, because I've already been to visit the sheriff, somebody's already been to visit the chief, I intend to see the fire chief, and anybody else we can get to tell them that we want them to come. Somebody, another member of the association will be, speaking to the county commission when they meet. Because we want them involved.
Sounds like a wonderful idea to me, and like I say, I don't think we'll have a problem at all, and our next meeting, we'll have it on the agenda, and I'm sure we'll get it voted on, and we'll be able to do anything we'll do. Thank you, but I'm gonna have you
Yeah, the idea was just, it's a good place to start. I agree.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Fort St. Joe redevelopment agency update, we have Bill here tonight, Bill Kennedy.
No,
You want to speak on Rex, and then go on before, we didn't have a meeting, but we had a meeting.
I was out at the last meeting, Mayor, so, anything from that meeting, you think we need to bring to the public's eye, go ahead, but things are progressing with the, keepers quarters and Eglin and the whole, George Cole Park area. The beach has been popular, so I think we're moving in the right direction.
I think one thing worth mentioning there too, Mr. Mayor, is we increased the amount to spend on facade grants, and we used every dime of it, so businesses are really looking good downtown.
All right, Mr. City Attorney.
It appears that I may have dropped the ball on the getting the ad in the newspaper. We learned today that it has not run. So it's not surprising that we didn't get any response on this building. Frankie Williams did submit another offer of $45,000 for the water plant road lot.
Are both of these sealed bids?
We had not intended to do them as sealed bids.
Okay.
I mean, y'all voted just to,
Put them out there,
yeah.
and we'll have them in there for the next meeting in 2 weeks. Okay.
And if I could, Mr. Mayor, on that, I kind of think that we're putting the cart before the horse on this. We really don't know what the value of these properties are, other than what we've been told people are willing to pay for it. I would like to see us, kind of take a step back and get an official appraisal done. And whichever we choose to sell, I think that we should get a realtor involved. I think that's the most transparent, the easiest way to do it. It doesn't involve any decisions from us other than wanting to sell or not. I would like to see that happen if we can just get some appraisals done.
The only thing I will say on that is I have done a little bit of research, and it was brought to the attention that, and I was on the phone last meeting, that the property was somewhere around $40,000 is what it was worth. And I got to looking where a piece had sold for $80,000, and the reason why we had a comp for $40,000, I may be wrong on this, is because then the guy that bought a piece of property for $80,000 turned around and split it in half and sold a half of that for $40,000. So that was your comp. So I don't think we were comparing apples to apples at all there, in my opinion. So you may have a point with your
Yeah,
saying.
I think we need an appraisal, not on residential real estate. We need someone that can, tell us the highest and best use of that property before the way it's zoned. I don't have a clue. I know we paid a lot more than $40,000 for it.
I almost don't want my name on that because the type costs we're taking. I don't. I have no idea why we paid that much in the first place for it. I wasn't here there then. I can't speculate. But, and I know we were at the boom when we paid for that, but even at the boom time, I looked around and it still seemed like we paid a lot for it. I mean, with that particular piece of property, we may need an appraisal on it.
We did a little bit of research. We haven't successfully answered all the questions, but we originally bought a piece of property that we owned piece of property that Frankie Williams owns next door, and the piece of property that the Gulf County ARC is on. We gave the ARC that piece of property, and they got some grants and built their building, and then we sold Frankie his piece of property. So, it's still not good,
Right.
but it's better than we thought it was.
What did we pay for the total price of that ton?
600 and something.
And at that time, if you'll go back and look at those dates, that same amount of property, some of it was sold for around $300,000 to $400,000. It don't smell good to me.
I wish I had more answers for
I
you.
understand, and I'm just saying, it doesn't smell good at all.
Well, what really hurts me, Commissioner Thursby, is that we're paying fees every month.
$1,500 a year,
just
we
to
have
sit on
no
it.
access as being a part of that. And that's something I wanna look at later on. We're wasting $1,500 a month and we have no access from Commerce Park. What are we paying for?
1,500 a year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, thank you.
One thing I've got is, he submitted us a bid, and then we asked for other bids as an advertisement. And now Mr. Williams has come back to us with another bid increasing another $5,000. And now we put it out there again and openly said what he was bidding. So if we go through this again, I don't feel it's right.
No, I don't either.
I don't feel the bid process is in order. I think we hand it over to a realtor once we get an appraised value. We decide what we want, and Frankie can go right to that realtor's office.
Well, and I agree with that, but we should have done that 2 weeks ago.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
We made a
Put the cart
decision,
before the horse.
we made a decision on what we were gonna do, and now here we are. If he submitted a bid, I guess we shouldn't even have mentioned how much it was, because it didn't go out in the paper.
The water plant road lot is a little bit different from this one, just because there've been 3 lots sold in there in the last 6 months. One of them, there was an appraisal done from the bank that was involved in the financing, and that information is pretty much public record in the $40,000 range.
Same acreage?
Our lot is bigger, but our lot is funny shaped and may not have the same kind of usable footprint. So,
Tom, do you remember what that property was purchased for at the time that we purchased it?
the property the city owns?
Yes.
$600,000.
I mean, do you remember what it was purchased for, what reason or?
Purpose, no, but it had to include, we were gonna do something for the Association for Retarded Citizens.
And I'm 110% behind what we did by giving them that property. That's a tough one to swallow right there for us to take that kind of loss. How much is it gonna benefit us to sell this property? I totally agree with what Mr. Lowry said. We didn't do a sealed bid on it, but yeah, we got a bid last week. It was brought out in the public. We had another, he upped it a little bit this month. Now when it goes out in the paper this week, well, everybody knows exactly now what this man's put out there. So they know they're gonna have to at least go $1 over or more. We gotta figure out a better way of doing this. Mr. Ashbrook, you may have the right way of doing it, but I don't feel good about the whole process and the way it's taking place. If we pull the whole thing off the record right now and just let it settle, it would be fine with me.
Did we vote on this last time to go out and see this?
No, we did not.
We didn't take a vote.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Somebody made a motion to change the whole thing. And then if you wanna make a motion to get both appraised and then turn it over to the realtor, we could do that. But, you may come in and appraise a less than we've already got offered, we may shoot ourselves in the foot. So then you gotta take a chance.
Well, we have a right to review any and all.
Sure we do.
So,
Sure we do.
from what I see, the property, I promise y'all, people in the public, this kind of deal wouldn't be made today.
I think fairest way to go. I don't think we made the right decision. I voted for it. I don't think that it was the right thing that we should have done, and I don't want to keep going down that path. And I think let's set a precedent where if we have real estate to sell, let's do the right thing. Let's give it appraised. Let's give it to a realtor, and let's get rid of it. That's my thoughts, and I will make the motion to have this property and that industrial site out of the Commerce Park, appraised and handed over to a realtor.
Now, how are we gonna do that? Are we gonna go back to the realtor we're currently using that's under the contract with us, or are we gonna go out for, request for proposal on that?
Is that a second for discussion?
Second for discussion, I'm sorry.
Motion by Commissioner Ashbrook, second by Commissioner Turner for discussion. All right.
And I don't think commercial real estate is the same. I don't believe a residential realtor would want to involve themselves in that. So I would say, because of the type of buildings and property that we're looking at, we should go out and do the same process and try to find us a commercial real estate.
The only problem I have with that is there are no commercial, strictly commercial here in the city of Fort St. Joe. I'd rather maybe them get some and let's go with somebody locally regardless of their, once we have an appraisal on it, my feeling is, Mr. Ashbrook, is that once we have an appraisal on it, a sale, you can get us, close to what the city's asking or what have you. But I don't want to send our business out of the city of Fort St. Joe.
And I'm fine with that. Mr. Attorney, if you don't have a commercial real estate license, can you sell commercial property?
Sell anything.
I want to know if you have a realtor.
You can act as a realtor for whatever.
No, I'm fine with that.
I'll give that a second if you want to make that, just so we just roll this over. for the
I'll
next
amend that
6
to we
months,
just roll it over with your current realtor.
And I'll second that.
All right, for some more discussion, I wanna talk about this building we're in right now. Cause I know there's some people here in this meeting wants to talk about it too. About the building we're in right now, like I said. I'll just be honest, I don't wanna sell the daggone building. I like it here, I like our meetings here. And I look at future growth for our city. And this would be perfect places to have more offices, I think. So, if we go to sell this building, I'll probably vote no. But, with that being said, when we entered a contract with the Emerald Dance Company, they were aware that this building could be sold at any time. I've got it right here in the lease agreement. If anybody wants to look at it, I'll be glad to let you look at it. And it states that it could be sold, it can be marketed, it will be continued to be marketed, but they have a first right of refusal. If somebody wants to buy this building, they want to match the price, and they get the building, but that's in their lease. But, I have always supported the youth of Fort St. Joe, I always will, I never will not. So, my position on this particular building is let's don't sell. Let's get money to pay taxes some other way, some other place.
How are we gonna do that, Mr. Mayor?
Well, we got other property for sale, maybe we can sell that property, we're only, $90,000 short, Jim? On our budget?
Not even anymore.
What were the options the other day we discussed?
We're not needing that now.
I wasn't at the last budget meeting, and I had heard through the grapevine that we had taken money out of BP to help with that. Can somebody tell me what was done with that?
That was the consensus from the three,
It wasn't anything voted on,
Right.
but it was discussed, maybe borrowing money from BP,
Grants.
for the grant money. And if we don't get the grant money, we don't have to worry about it, but the BP money would be paid back, just like we did on the hospital.
Yeah, we got several budget, at
More
least
budget
two
meetings.
budget meetings, so we can look at other budget items to cut, if it's possible.
Because I was one that brought it up that we may need to go up $500,000. And, I'm always, y'all know that everything I do for the youth of this community, I'm always looking at what we can do for our children. But I also, if we can keep them going up on taxes by selling some real estate, I don't care whether we sell this building or we sell the building out there. If the objective and the goal that we're trying to get to is to not go up on taxes, we've got to have more than just a hope so. And my thing is if this man comes in with $180,000 that he's gotten his finance, are we gonna still be okay if we turn this deal down? Because I don't wanna have to come back and say, okay, we're gonna have to cut some jobs because we didn't put enough money into the budget this year to pay them. So I'm just trying to think, I want these children to have a place to stay. I've had phone calls all week long, I've made phone calls to try to find out in case it did sell, if there's somewhere else we can put these children. I had 3 children in my home. My children started with that dance studio when it first started in Fort St. Jude. I'm 100% behind our youth. But I'm also 100% behind the taxpaying citizens of Fort St. Jude. And I do not want to burden them with more taxes if we can do anything about it.
At this time, I want to open up discussion to anyone in the audience who would like to discuss this matter, the sale of this building. Would it be the man wanting to buy it, or some of you back there that's got the, dance people that want to continue? I mean, does anybody want to talk about this?
Mayor, I'm just saying we got a motion on the floor that.
And we're open for discussion, and that includes the public. Discussion includes the public.
Oh, I know that, but the motion was just to advertise, to get it appraised and go out, and let the current realtor have it. That's the motion. And we can still talk about all that. Whatever you want to do is fine.
Well, let's have some discussion. Anybody in the audience want to talk about this building for sale, let's talk about it right now.
Okay.
Come on.
Good evening, gentlemen. Once again, I'm David Lane. Placed the bid on the building. Mr. Thurston, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I came before you on the advice of my financial advisors to request a 60 to 90 day feasibility period. So with that in mind, I need to do some more footwork myself. Do not want to retract my offer, but want to request the feasibility time period and then maybe another 30, 60 days for a closing period, which leaves the building as it is right now. You all meeting here, the children getting the dance lessons.
Let me ask you something. I wasn't here at the
Yes,
last meeting. I was trying to do it over the phone. It was a pretty tough deal. In the event that you were able to come up with the money this board decided to, I've had 2 issues this week over the wholesale of the whole building, and I'm going to tell you both of them. One of them is they don't exactly want, they're not against the funeral home, but they're against the crematorium part.
Yes.
This is from neighbors around us.
Okay.
So my question on that would be, is that something that while you're getting it all together, I'd like for you to be considering, is that something you would absolutely have to have? The other question would be is, would you be interested, if you bought this building, to continue to maybe help make that mortgage payment every month, to give our girls a place to dance, and maybe us find other entrance for this building if that was something that we might, or their part, if that was something that you agreed to, or the next buyer, whether it be you or someone else. I mean, you can't speak for them, I realize that, but you see where I'm coming from.
Yes, very much so. And as yourself, I'm very concerned about the future generations. I have 3 kids. So I'm not opposed to that idea. Being though that a funeral home is an establishment of in modern time,
Together, I don't know, I'm just thinking outside the box, that may be the worst idea in the world, and I'll be the first to say I was wrong if I am. I'm just real concerned about these children,
I understand.
and I'm real concerned about taxes, and I'm real concerned about the people in my community,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and that's the reason I put it out there to you.
I understand. Nothing is out of my consideration as well on that issue with the children and helping. That's what funeral directors do, is help people. That's the whole heart and my thought process of the funeral. On the crematory, Gulf County, to my knowledge, as of this date, does not have a cremation facility. And I stated in last meeting cremation is so much on the rise. It is becoming, and 60% came out of my mouth last time. That's not everywhere. That is not everywhere. That's not Fort St. Joe right now. That's maybe a funeral home or two here and there in Bay County and in counties around us and throughout the state of Florida, which started the cremation boom, South Florida. So in my mindset to serve every purchaser of a funeral plan, cremation center and crematorium is a necessity. It is a tool that each funeral home needs. And if they don't have one, it's doing how do I say it? It's a disservice to those who choose the cremation as a way of disposition. So just as Father mentioned the prayer and everybody joining, that just, amen. But I have to say also, I'm of the mindset that funerals and the funeral industry interests me at a younger age because of it helps people. And I was so accustomed to burials. I didn't hardly know what a cremation was, but throughout that 20 some odd years, you've seen what once in a while is a cremation and everything else burial go to. You may have 10 cremations before you get a burial. And that's even in bigger areas than Fort St. Joe. So that's my thing on cremation.
And like I said, I don't know if any of that is even anything you could ever look at. I don't know.
It could be outsourced, but
Right, and that's something we may need to, but we're not even there yet.
Yes,
I just wanted
yes.
to throw it out there because I was not here last week to get to talk to you, and that was a couple of questions.
Yes,
that I
sir.
didn't have.
I understand.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
You do know, we can't give you exclusive 60 to 90 days. They decide to go ahead and sell this building, we can't hold it till you get your finance.
I do
I'm
understand.
saying we can make that promise.
Okay. Is there any accessibility to any time frame, seeing as that I'm going about SBA 7A type loan?
Well, you know, they're fixing to vote here in a minute, whether to put this up or.
Okay. Yep, I understand.
And
So,
I have one other concern. I don't know if you received this email from Mr. Rocky Comforter, longtime funeral director here at Fort St. Joe. I bring this up because when we first talked, we talked about, financing half of this. And then we talk about, okay, so that is kind of a business loan, not just real estate. And when doing that, you have to look at the professionals in the field and say, is it going to be a successful business? And I will give this to you, but according to Rocky, if you can't get at least 125 cremations a year, it's not a profitable business. And I will give this to you. You can read over this all you like, but this is our professional in town.
Okay.
And so I would be against a finance option on this, I think, in this case. He is the expert in town.
I understand.
And he's tried this before. So
Yes.
just a concern. I wouldn't want you to get into something that you just fall right in over your head either.
All right.
Great.
And this will be on the next agenda, I'm sure.
Okay.
Thank you, and I appreciate the interest in our community.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight about selling this building? Come on up. Name and address.
I think you know my name. You want to know where I live too?
Yeah.
Paula Pickett, 108 Sunset Circle. I have a clarity question. Can you, Mr. Attorney, please explain first right of refusal to me, and how it is interpreted within this lease?
Well, if we get an offer to buy this building, then the dance studio is gonna have an opportunity to meet that offer.
So it's just, it has nothing to do with entering into contracts and agreements prior to giving that first right of refusal?
I think it said 5 days in there.
I have not seen the lease, I apologize.
notify them if we got a contract offer, and they would have 5 days to determine whether or not they could meet that offer.
Can you further explain to me what kind of agreement, it may just be a verbal or just discussion about what the current status of this piece of property is with Mr. Lane and his facility?
I'm not aware of any kind of agreement.
Verbal, that is what?
But it's not binding.
Yeah, but what are the details of that verbal agreement?
Well, he said he will buy this building for $180,000, we'll be able to resell it to him for $180,000. That's why they're gonna actually, probably go to a realtor. I don't know if he can get it for $180,000.
Well, and I'll add this too, that I'm learning things every day in the seat. And one of the things I learned today is on the business license application, you can, once again, even if we decide to sell this building, we can still deny a funeral home in any neighborhood in the city. So that was surprising to me. You know, I don't like to pick and choose who gets to operate a business in town, but that is specifically mentioned.
I think we need all the businesses we can get. I'm pro business across the board.
Absolutely.
But I just, like I said, I didn't understand the terms of first right of refusal and what that truly meant for, quite frankly, the current position that Emerald Dance is in right now. Thank you.
That offer was submitted to us in writing. It was. Yeah.
Did you hear that, Paula?
I'm sorry.
I don't know that it matters any, but the offer was submitted in writing, but we have not voted to approve or to disapprove. It's just, no.
Anyone else? We'll move along, if nobody else wanna talk about this subject. All right, Mr.
There's still a motion.
Oh, well, let's make that, I've got a motion, have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. No. Jim.
Mayor, one thing for clarification, you want to announce who that realtor is, since we have people that we know are interested in that property, who that we need to contact?
Would that be the same one we would do?
One more thing I'd like to ask on this, y'all, we just discussed having an appraisal done. Jim, is that something that was part of that motion? Did y'all understand it that way? So then
Appraised and then give them a
okay, so we're having this appraised first. Is the appraisal something that,
You would need to decide if you want a specific appraiser, or do you want your realtor to look at it first and give you an
I
opinion
think the
first?
specific appraisal is better on this particular deal, just because I realize it's gonna cost $1,000, $1,500. Am I right?
Yeah.
But I wanna be sure that we're comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges. I probably looked at the same thing a dozen times on the tax side where it looked like one piece of property we had was worth this, and then after I saw where it was sold, I realized, okay, well, that's not exactly it's been split up. You know, I want it done right, because I want transparency.
And I just real quick, I feel like the best way to be transparent is to be hands-off. Let's let our realtor decide who the appraiser is, let's let her deliver that appraisal. That would be my opinion. I don't want to say, I'm picking this person, and then people come back to me and say, well, what did you tell them that you wanted for? I don't want that to happen. I don't want to know who's appraising. Surprise me.
What were you gonna say?
So the sale of this building was in the motion.
Crazy.
Appraisal.
Appraisal and listed with
You wanna change your vote?
Yeah, I would.
I'd like to. I don't know, he didn't understand the vote, can he change his vote if he'd like to?
Yeah.
That's a yes or no question, right? All right, we're gonna vote one more
The
time on the
motion
same
was
thing.
to sell those properties, all three properties.
There's two.
Just two we talking about
The
here,
water plant property
and just
and,
building.
and this building, have it appraised, turn it over to our current realtor, and, let them run with it.
Can I call for another vote, Tom?
Well, let me ask you something, okay? What is the reasoning, Commissioner, why you would like to change your vote? If you don't mind me asking.
My issue is I'm not comfortable selling this building, and I don't wanna sell this building. I think it's an asset we have. I mean, our city is growing, our county is growing, and there's a possibility we may need this in the future, for other space. We've got a tenant here right now, we're drawing some income to it, and I wish not to list this building for sale right now.
we'll call for another vote, right?
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. No. Motion passes 3-2. Okay.
Now, Jim.
Ready? Next item we have is reference to old business, the road bond money. We had a workshop on the 10th of this past month to discuss what our options are, and we have for you to look at tonight again for the engineering task force.
I think we all agreed to, go forward with it at the workshop we had here, with the limit of the original proposal, I believe was right, which is $96,000 something dollars, and not to go over that, even if we increase the scope of work, we'll have to have extra money anyway in our hand to increase the scope of work, and so, that'll all come together. If we get the extra money, we'll have it for engineering. So my motion is to, let, our engineers start the work on the engineering for our Long Avenue repave project.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Burdette, second by Commissioner Ashford. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to discuss that for a moment. So that being said, that if we're able to go, right now, with the amount of money we've got enough money to go, how far, John? 13? Yeah.
We don't know at this point. What we discussed at the workshop was to go ahead and look at the water, try to get the water done, look at the sewer on there, and as we go along, keep you informed as to how far we can go. At this point, we do not know. Until we get into it, we still gotta look at our options until, Mr. Grant and Mr. Small will get into the engineer. We don't have a definitive answer at this point.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing, is go ahead and get the engineering starts rolling.
Yeah, and I'm totally in agreement with that. Just what we're saying is though, is if we do come up with more funds, we're gonna have to okay to spend more money. We can't expect this firm to sit here and do all this engineering for the same price. Okay.
I think they realize, I didn't want to engineer the whole project,
If
the
we're
whole
not gonna
project,
need
we, you know, it'd eat up the money
That's
we have to do our paving.
Well, and I think what he said was he would engineer the sewer part last. So by the time he's ready to start engineering the sewer side, we'll know if we have enough money.
Okay, I'm good with that.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. All right.
The next item we have is in reference to the propane gas vehicles. We've had on the last few meetings, and I believe you have some gentlemen here tonight that might want to talk to you about it.
Yes, gentlemen, I've been talking with, Shows over there about, propane gas, or maybe doing a pilot program this next budget cycle on maybe 2 vehicles, one in the water department or the wastewater, and one with the police department. So tonight, we got Jason Shows and Andy here, and they have another representative with them. I'm not sure I know your name, but if y'all want to come up and explain this process to us now. And I've told them a little bit about it, some of the costs involved, and hopefully the federal government's still gonna be reimbursing 50% of it when we start.
For the next 2 years. Okay. For sure. But we've used it at our company. We've got 6 vehicles running on it now, and it's cut our fuel cost in half. It's running about $1 a gallon. And down at the pump, we're paying $2 or $2.50 or whatever. It's cleaner for the environment, better for your budget. We just don't have anything bad to say about it. But this is David Griffin, and he's with ICOM. They're the company that made the kits to convert the vehicles. And he's come down to join us to answer any questions.
Good. I've just a little bit of my history. I worked for a propane gas company in South Mississippi. We had 20 locations, 165 tons, and I was head mechanic. We ran, the day I started with them in 1996, we had 165 tons on propane. So over those next 20 years of working for that company, we continued to run propane the whole way through. And so I've seen the development of the technology from going from the carbureted engine over to the fuel injected, over to, sequential injection, and now even direct injection. So I'm really more here today to answer questions. The technology today is a gasoline fuel system that has propane running through the veins of it. So when you go buy your car brand new from Ford, it's got a fuel system on it. It's got a fuel pump in the tank, it's got a set of injectors, it's got rails. Well, the propane fuel system today is exactly the same, but we offer it in a biofuel application or monofuel application where you completely replace the gasoline with straight propane, or you have gasoline with or propane with a gasoline backup. And you know, I don't really know what else to say as far as.
Well, I've got a couple of questions, and one of my big ones was maintenance. To me, it seems like propane burns cleaner. It should make your engine last longer. And then my next point was safety. With pressurized gas tanks like that, what's the safety risks versus gasoline?
The safety risk, I would much rather be involved in an accident with a propane vehicle than a gasoline. Your gasoline tank is, plastic, and when gasoline spills, it's there. Your emergency workers are going to be working in it, that kind of thing. Where with propane, you're dealing with at least 10 millimeter thick tank. We had one in South Florida on a wrecker service for Sunshine Towing, sitting on the side of the road, rear end collision, 75 miles an hour, knocked the tank completely out from under the truck. The tank goes spinning out in the middle of the road. No fire, no propane escape from the tank. So it's really a safer fuel from that aspect than gasoline.
And then on the maintenance side?
Maintenance, propane has a history. So if you go back 10 years and you talk to people that ran propane 10 years ago, they're going to tell you that it causes valve erosion, it causes head damage, it causes, bottom ends last forever, but the top ends wear out. Liquid propane, which is what the systems are today, it sprays the fuel in at negative 44 degrees. It cools combustion chambers, and we actually do prolong the life. I've got customers that run group transportation. They buy vans, brand new E350s, run 750,000 miles, and rarely ever put them in.
And then just one last thing. Check my math on this, but I added it up, and if we're getting $1 a gallon of propane, and we're paying $2.50 at the pump, it seems like about 50,000 miles, you've saved enough money to pay for the conversion. Is that about where you're at?
Yes.
Now, is it your company that comes and installs them in the trucks, or always show us how to install them? And explain about that.
We can do that any number of ways. What's going to be most cost effective for your city is for your city garage to do the installs. On an order of 3 systems, we will come out and we'll train your garage for free. We'll spend the entire week with them. We'll go through and do those 3 installs, and then go through several hours of troubleshooting and maintenance thereafter.
They do it for cheap.
Yeah.
I know you do it for free, and you can tell us how to do it free, but do 2 instead of 3.
Yeah, I think Jason never bought enough that we would do that.
I think the guy selling us some propane ought to install.
My question, I guess, would be there is, from our department heads, we're talking about do any of our department heads, I mean, it's gonna be all trucks guys, do y'all have any questions or comments or concerns on, okay, we're saying 2 right now, but what if next year we decide? I mean, I want y'all to be, how y'all feel about this, guys?
Whether we burn gasoline or propane, it doesn't matter who is fuel. I think one of my concerns, the question about the gas company is the $1 a gallon price you threw out. How long is that now for? Is it long term? Is it short term? Are we going to see the $2 per gallon propane cost next year, the year after? So that would be my only concern about the initial investment. Would it at some point creep up to what petroleum is costing?
I guess you need Mr. Hall really answer that.
Or a contract for a year on $1.
Well,
You can go back. You can go back.
I mean, what are y'all hearing, guys? Are y'all hearing that it looks like the propane end of it will kind of, because I see what John's saying.
In a 20-year history, if you go back and look at the price comparison
That's
for
what I'm
what
looking
propane was looking at, what propane price is, what gasoline price is, there has been a 1-2 week window, one time where propane was more than gasoline. And that was in February of 14 when they shut down 3 major facilities for maintenance at the same time. And it was just for about a 2 week window, it was kind of difficult.
And that's I guess, probably the answer I was
But
wanting to know.
and during that time, though, if you were running propane, and you were running the biofuel system, you would just simply run gasoline and that would be to it.
I mean, so like I said, I think that it pays for itself after you hit 50,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure that Chief's guys are driving more than that. So is the water department.
I had a question about that, Chief. Do we do 50,000 miles a year on a vehicle? That means we buy a brand new vehicle in 4 years, we got 200,000 miles on it? I don't think.
No, sir. The police department averages about 20,000 miles per officer per patrol car a year.
Per officer, but I mean.
Per patrol car.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it wouldn't be feasible to do it on the police department. Right. So,
We need to
so
find
the other
a
question
vehicle
is, do we have 2 vehicles in public works, water, wastewater, that,
Matt,
any department that goes 50,000 miles?
Ours does about 40,000.
Excuse me?
40,000.
40 for you?
question for Matt would be, Matt, don't you think maybe you may have one possibly vehicle load or so that would go more than the 20,000 miles a year, or even your number one that's drove the most, the furthest distance every day? You're still saying you're maxing out at 20,000?
Sergeant Jake Richards, who probably drives the most, he averages probably 120 miles per shift. His vehicle's 4 years old. He's got 76,000 miles on it. So
That's my question.
Yeah, and I'm all for, I wanna try it, yeah, I really do.
I just want to do it on the right vehicle. That's all I'm trying to think. I'm all for saving money.
I was hoping for the 50,000, so on the budget, it's a wash. You spend the money on the equipment, but you save it on the fuel side. If we're talking 20,000 miles, it is gonna cost us more than budget this year.
John, do we have 2 vehicles that are doing at least 40?
We're close. We're probably in, 32,000, probably the high end.
Larry,
And your fuel economy is gonna affect that some too. So if you've got a truck that's getting 20 miles a gallon, it's gonna take more than 50, where if you've got one getting 10, you're gonna get it faster.
I think I used 12 as my number.
I wanted to ask Larry a question. What was that, Larry, that you were saying?
We have a remote vehicle that we've got 160,000 miles on it, and we purchased it in 2012.
So that'd be a good one too. And even if we're a little bit off on there, it's cleaner to the environment, so I'm willing to take a little risk on that. I just don't want it costs money. I'm looking at this thing as I'd like to just come out as a wash, maybe even save a little bit, and maybe even help the environment some. So if it takes 50,000, I'm okay at 40,000, but if we're at 20,000, I don't know,
How about you, Kerry?
No.
What say the sheriff's about possibly a deal? What you contract us a certain price for a time frame? Is that a possibility on propane, or do you regulate it on what you have to charge?
What numbers were you using on the?
It was 12 miles per gallon, and it was based off of $2.50 paying for gasoline and $1 on propane. That's why I have to check my math. How much was the installation? 6.
Toss us a little over the thing. I don't have it in front of me. You remember?
Yeah, it was 6 and half of that.
We get half of it back.
So it seems like it's starting at $1,700. So,
Well, without our rebate.
what is the total cost? Do you know?
You're gonna be in the 5 to 5,500 purchase price on it, and it's 50% of that, so it's gonna be
About 22, 50 to 23.
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Now you get down around $30,000.
Is it a cash refund from the government or tax?
did we budget this?
Yes, it's cash.
Is this in the budget? Yeah.
We have talked about some new vehicles. We haven't put specific price. We got specific price tags on vehicles, but I don't think we put in there specifically for conversion.
Okay, I'd like to just try to see if we can fit it in the budget, use a couple of vehicles that are average around 40,000 a year, and see if we can make the numbers work. We can come and put it on the agenda for next meeting and for final vote, so we can have all the figures in front of us, and install figures and that type of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all for it if it's a wash.
This wouldn't happen until October when our new budget cycle starts.
Yeah, I think our goal is to do basically a pilot project for 2 vehicles and see how it goes.
And we were talking about on our new vehicles, we're talking about purchasing several new vehicles in the budget cycle, so we were thinking about putting it on a new vehicle.
That's where it makes sense, that's where you're gonna get your best return.
I might now.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, the shows, is that something that y'all always have propane? It's not something that the availability ever changes or anything like that?
We have a large storage facility where we keep 30,000 gallons on hand.
Okay.
And plus what we have, that's never a problem, even in the leanest times. And to answer your question about a budget, we buy pre-buys for a year. So we would just sit down and look at how much you need. We can, at any time,
Yeah,
adjust
but we
that.
could put pen to paper if you give us a rate, and we can look at what the average gas
But
price
that
is.
give y'all some time too, over the next couple of weeks, y'all put some things together while we're putting some things.
The margin would be very small over our cost. We can either do a margin or we can do a fixed cost, whatever works for you.
What about accessibility, Phillips? You see, you store it, but if we need more gas, like right now, more propane,
We've got a station at our office.
you just fill it up.
It's just like a regular gas pump. You drive in, we'll put a light there if you want to fill up at night. Put in your code and off you go.
All right, anything else? Gentlemen,
Mayor, I got a quick question. What's the difference for a pickup truck in gas mileage versus gas mileage? Propane mileage.
You lose about 10% economy, from gasoline to propane. There's no deficiency in horsepower or any of that anymore. But we do lose about 10% fuel economy.
So if I have a truck that gets 15 miles to the gallon, what could I probably expect out of propane?
13.5 to 14.
But you're saving half the price of money for half price, so.
That's right.
Better to wash once you.
Much more than a wash, yeah.
Absolutely.
all right, gentlemen, we appreciate y'all coming.
Thank y'all for
Something we'll be looking at the next, meeting and try to get this thing going in October. All right, thank y'all.
Mayor, the next item we have is in reference to our budget. We had our last budget workshop, we had one this past Friday, and we set one again for the 23rd at noon. It's the next school budget workshop here today on the 23rd. Yes, next Tuesday. And our first actual public hearing, we're gonna actually vote on it for the first time, will be on September the 7th at 5:01. Any questions about the budget? On the new business, the next item we have,
Y'all would turn that air conditioning on a little sooner today.
well, we actually did, Mayor.
They did, I'll
Keeping up.
They did,
We did.
It's 7 o'clock. I gotta tell you.
The next item we have in our new business, the business license application. We had an application at 507 10th Street. This is actually from Watley Funeral Services. If you'll turn over to pages 6 through 8. On page 7, if you'll see under section 3.04 of your land development regulations, under section of District R2B, there are some requirements for funeral homes that does require approval from the city commission.
Mr. Anderson, that particular piece of property, is it the same piece of property that has been, in past years, also a funeral home in the past?
It was a funeral home in the past, yes.
I think that's all it ever has been up until the last, correct, or not? I mean, we've had some people in there, I think, the last 10 years or 8 years or something, but prior to that, I think that's what it's good for, wasn't it?
I know it was a funeral home for many years, I do know.
Has it been a residential dwelling since then, someone's lived there?
I think it's been vacant.
I've got I think we all got a letter, notes, whatever you want to call it, from one of the neighbors. I don't know if he's here, I don't know if he wants to speak or if he wants to let the paper speak for him. I think he probably does, Mayor.
Yes, it does.
But I will say this, that I've always been pro-business. I'm pro-business for anybody that wants to come, employ people in our city, live here, raise a family, pay taxes. And, Mr. Lane is trying to open a business, and Ms. Watley is trying to open a business. It just happened to be the same business at the same time. But anyway, I haven't met Ms. Watley. I know her family, they're good people. make it good, win-win for everybody. So, Mayor, I think Mr. McLean.
I'd also like to piggyback on that 1 second. I don't know, I do not have a letter, maybe because I've been out of town and
No, that should have
it's
been
in
front of
the
you.
packet. Okay, I hadn't had a chance to go over it today. But I will tell you this, I've lived in my house on 6th Street for 23 years, and at the end of my road, there is a funeral home, and I've never had any problem. That's all I'm saying.
When, this property was occupied as a funeral home in the past, was there any problems we know of brought to our light? Come on.
Chad Lacy Mack, 509 10th Street. And the reason we brought this up is because we don't want history to repeat itself. When we initially moved there in 2000, yes, there was a funeral home in operation there, but it was for viewing purposes only. There was no embalming or anything like that. So it's been vacant for approximately 8 years, 9 years, totally vacant. I've been taking care of the property for the property owner, been watching over the home and whatnot, just to keep it up. That way it wouldn't disturb nicely. And then we found out that it was going to, become a fully functional funeral home again. Well, that brought up concerns, and it brought back past history where we had parking issues. We had also had issues of building deteriorating. In fact, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there are part of the building, in fact, behind the property, actually overlaps into ours, because at one time, both properties were owned by the same owner. So I'm guessing there was some kind of code issue and whatnot. But our biggest concern is our property value. There, you can pretty much Google it anywhere. The adjacent properties next to a funeral home will drop from 8 to 15% in value. We would like to sell our house one day and make, our hard-earned money that we put into it, and be able to fully profit from it. So that's our concerns. Our biggest concern for those is property value, for one. And I do understand that it has been a funeral home in the past, but it's been vacant for 8 years or longer. So by that being said, everybody says, oh, it used to be one. Well, it used to be. That was 8 years ago. I mean, it's been vacant since.
That property now, I believe, is residential commercial property. Being that it was bought that, I like both of you guys. And I love but I live right down the road from a nursing funeral home and have for 23 years. And right beside it, I have a church, and they have a lot of people that go to that church. I have a bank. I mean, I live almost in a commercial neighborhood. But y'all businesses is what we need, and I believe that we could sharpen our pencil and everybody get along together. I would not be able to buy you an ice cream cone, but I can't agree with you on this one here. And I just want you to understand that I'm pro-business. I can probably better than anybody up here relate to what you're saying because of where I do live.
Well, maybe we could work something out then as far as parking.
Let's just
because that's
try to all work together. And that's what I'd like to hear out of you. Let's work together.
Right. And the one down the street from you, they use Fairpoint Park.
There you go.
They got it made.
They have-
When I drove by today,
And see, maybe we can let them use both.
when I drove by there today, that was my biggest concern was where are they gonna park? It is truly right in the middle of a residential neighborhood. There's houses on either side and houses across the street. And I don't know whether code-wise that it could be that type of business. He's not here to tell me whether I'm wrong or not, but I'm sure our city inspector has something to say about it. I don't know. That would be my only concern, quite frankly, is there's no parking.
That was my main concern. I remember years ago when it was, the park across the street, right away, people's yard. I mean, it's a
I
big
do understand this every now and then. It's not like it's every day.
That's right.
But, the biggest thing that we just wanted to, for the record, is that we believe that it will decrease our property value. We work very hard to get where we're at and to see that happen to us. It's just, have to say.
We've been here for 16 years, and I have multiple properties here, and I've paid taxes for 16 years. So now you brought up taxes and income and that kind of thing. In a perfect world, I would pick Casey to be a neighbor. I absolutely adore her. And I would love for them to like beat up and run a magnificent funeral home somewhere else. I told Casey a minute ago, I was like, I love you. I wish you sold insurance because the funeral home is a concern. I understand the jobs. I've wanted jobs here. You know, roughly 4 years ago, I flipped the property. That's what I do. I'm an investor. So I buy and sell. I've bought and sold over 30 properties in the local area. And I took that money and I went to Ms. Gilmore and I said, hey, I want to buy your place because I thought we can use it as an office. We can, you know, make jobs there, that kind of thing. And she was iffy about it. And she came back and said a little over 200. And I said, that's fine. We'll do that, a little over 200. And I said, but you'll have to take 150 cash and finance the difference because the property is dilapidated. And it was just uninhabited. And we talked about it, and she did not want to finance just even that difference. And if we had been able to do that, I feel like we have, you know, a building there now that could be offices, so that kind of thing. The sad thing is the parking issue, just like we talked about, and we, you know, the first few years that we lived there, it was horrible. I mean, people will literally park in your driveway. We bought homes, they move the homes, pull in the driveway. You can't go in and ask somebody to move their car when it's a funeral. I mean, it's not something that you do. So, you know, you park your vehicles down the road and you walk 4 blocks to go back home. And as Chad was mentioning, the Comforter Funeral Home does have that overflow lot. So that is a big issue. And I was talking with Casey. I absolutely adore her, and I want all this to work out. But the biggest issue is the parking, and I know the owner, the parcel, is enormous. It's got a whole other lot beside it. That part could be used for parking, and I think, you know, Casey was looking at doing that also, and I think she was wanting to do that.
Casey, can you talk to a few questions?
And I, you know, us as a city and us as a board, we will do whatever we could to help with that, you know, in case that's something that, just, I'm all for growth.
Me too. We are
see
too.
it happen.
We all
I want these people to be able to do this. I want you to be happy. So maybe that's a good idea. I want Mr. Lane out there to be happy. But we just all gotta make it work.
Well,
Everybody be happy.
and we also need to address the setback issue, because the building, the coolers, I think, are gonna be in the back. It does overlap our property, and I feel like that is a
Send the code enforcer on over there.
I think it's a major issue as far as resale for us, and we are looking to move. So, I mean, I'd be crazy if I said, I'd love to have a funeral home next door, because I wouldn't, but Casey makes it a lot easier, and I want to watch her succeed. I want to watch her do what she wants and watch her dreams come true. At the same time, we don't want to lose the equity that we built up in our home. I mean, we spend a lot of money in ours, and that setback issue is a big problem, because I don't think anybody's going to want to buy a house that has a building that's butted up right next to our fence and coming over it that's housing corpses. It's just not the positive thing.
I don't mean to interrupt, but if I could, I'd like to ask, our attorney, he's pretty knowledgeable on this type of stuff. Tell him how does that usually work out?
Well, the first thing is that the previous funeral home was in business long before we had landowner regulations. On page 8, Jim has highlighted the section of the code, and before this happens, y'all will have to make some findings and take some evidence that it's not going to affect property values and it's appropriate. And there also are specific parking requirements for funeral homes. I'm sure all that can be worked out if everybody's interested in doing that. As far as encroaching on the neighboring property, it's just something that we have to look at a survey or see whether there was any agreement done when the properties were jointly owned, that kind of thing.
I believe we know what this is. Parking's gonna be the issue.
Yeah, I'd like to ask the potential owners about the parking. If they would come up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Name and address.
Casey Watley, 507 10th Street. Fort St. Joseph, Kentucky.
Are you gonna live here also?
Yes, sir.
So you will be living on
Yes, sir. The funeral home has a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment on top.
it. And, what have you thought about the point?
I thought that the lot next to me would be available for parking, but, I found out that it's not. Miss Ruby wanted us to park, like where the water tower is. They said that they used to park there, and I'm not real crazy about that idea. I'd like to have it right next to the funeral home, so if that's an option, I'd like to definitely explore that.
Does she own that property?
Yes, sir.
She owns that. Is that part of the deal or not?
Not part of the current deal, but she just didn't want anyone over there to break the grass. So,
Well, that would basically be something that y'all would try to work out in the
Absolutely.
meantime. I mean, I don't think that.
absolutely, if she wanted us just to lease the property, that would definitely be up for discussion. Just because I would like to keep family and their guests close to the building, easy accessible to the funeral home, and not park on everybody else's property. Keep everybody right there
And I
together.
think that's the issue.
AJ, you know, the highlighted area there, how are we gonna accomplish that, Mr. Gibson? Now, affecting property values, that will, such use will not adversely affect property values. Who do you go to determine that? Would it be the property appraiser, or would it be history, or, I mean, we ask, if we gotta make a decision, and we can't go against our LDR here, then, we gotta have somewhere.
You gotta have, you should have some basis for making that determination, whether that's asking Mitch Burke to come to the meeting and offer an opinion.
Well, I think we need to do that then, don't you guys?
We gotta do that, we gotta resolve the parking issue. I think
And that'd be up to y'all, correct?
it's not,
Yes, sir.
There's specific parking requirements for funeral homes that's gonna say if your funeral home is this size, you gotta have this many off-street parking places.
Who would we find that out from?
With a couple, one question I was gonna ask, is there gonna be services there? or
Yes,
is it just
sir.
gonna be, so services there,
Services
there may be
on
some
that.
differences if you gonna hold a service versus just a unit.
We'll have visitations and services.
You won't have a permit.
No, sir. I have no interest.
Is, well, our attorney, real estate is what he does, and I feel like that anything that he can help you do, he'll be more than happy to. Let's all try to make both parties happy. I think parking's probably the main issue, that is the difference between where I live and where they live, is there is a lot across the street. But, I mean, you wanna be a good neighbor as much as everybody else wants to be neighbors, so I think we can work this out.
Jim, can you reach out to the property appraiser and see if he'll give us kind of an idea?
I'll ask you if you will.
Yeah, I think, parking is probably my main issue as well. I just don't want to recreate another problem that we've had several years back where they were parking on the Water Tower property, in the right of way. So if you can make that work.
I'll get with Ms. Ruby and see what we can work out for that sideline.
Now, you leasing the building, you don't buy it.
Correct, it's a lease with options, not,
Does that plan beside it, is it included with the lease and option to buy?
just part of that empty lot to the left is included with the building. What Miss Ruby has, the next lot over goes all the way back to the duplexes.
Well, can we just table this for 2 weeks, guys?
Vote on
We can't,
You don't have any choice.
yeah. Let's,
Right.
do we need, is everybody okay with us tabling this for 2 weeks, give you time to talk to Miss Ruby, and is that okay with you? All right. I want to try to,
And Mitchburg.
we get all parties together and we'll,
And get the property lines. So we
yeah,
can get there.
let's get all that stuff together, and in 2 weeks we'll do this again, if y'all do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, last item we had tonight, Mayor, is a fee waiver request for the youth ministries. Several of the youth ministry programs from our local churches are wanting to do an event, and they want to utilize the Washington Gym.
For when?
I believe it is September the 22nd. Yeah.
20 and 24.
Just a one day, it's gonna be free.
I'm okay, I've spoken to some of these people, and I'm okay to make a
I think
motion that we allow this.
Now, their request is 2 days, September 22nd and 24th.
It does, but they're only needing the Washington
Yeah,
Gym
for
on
the
one day. Yes.
Okay.
We have a motion from Commissioner Thursday.
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Thick. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
We'll take a 5 minutes.
Let's take a 5-minute break, everybody. 5 minutes.
Out there, but it costs.
It's too sweet.
My brain is firing. It's your feet, they're being nice.
I can see what's wrong.
Hi, Claude. How are you? How's Henry? Kids go back home because some said they were going to be like 10 days. Okay. Most did. Yeah. Are they having problems with the weather?
Not on getting by, of course, it rained every day.
I love doing that. Somebody ask Brooke out there, we ready. Let's go without him. Go ahead. All right, let's move on, man. Let's move it right along. Public Works.
Yes, sir. Just a quick update. Obviously, the weather last week played a major effect on what we were able to do. Projects, there's really not much to update from the last time. Gator Boring is back in town again yesterday on the work again, so we'll progress as long as the weather stays good.
John, one question for you, not relating to what you just told us, but I knew that rain had y'all yelled up a little bit. Have you got any quotes or got anything substantial on the pumps for the lakes yet? We're still working on that.
Still working on it.
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
Do I have anything for John?
Looks like we're working hard today. Yes,
All right. Next up, Larry.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just have one item. U.S. Tank has started work on the hydro tank in White City. That station up there is a bypass, and it's safe to say it's probably going to bypass for the next couple of weeks. Just to let you know.
Did y'all have a meeting today with your membrane people?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday, how'd that go?
I thought it went real well.
A lot of money, right? Gotta do it, gotta do it. Any questions for Larry? All right, Kevin?
You can see that we've got surplus property that's an old pickup truck. Engine froze up, the steering column was shot. Tommy said it's, utility is running bad to fix that.
And also, there's a number on telephone pole down the street from my house that says they give $300 for unwanted vehicles. Go by there and get that number tomorrow and call them.
We scrapped out one last year. We got one over 400.
Do that.
Scrapped it. I put a number at 400. Anything less than that.
Okay, good. All right.
move we declare it surplus.
Second. Have a motion from Mr. Brazil, second from Mr. Purdy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. What else?
We're spraying as far as we can spray. Yeah. We had 10.96 inches of rain this month. We've lost a little bit of room, but we're doing very well to maintain. Just keep pushing it through.
Any more questions for Kevin? None? Code enforcement? Yeah. Let's go for it.
I was okay with that.
Let's move along. Golf cart crawls, talked to DOT today, they tell me within the next week you'll have a permit. I told them, aren't you worried now, it's been a while, no, it's approved, it's approved. Internal paperwork they're trying to finish, and he said within the next week you'll have a permit. So, it's coming, we'll see, but it's coming. Harrison Avenue paving, DOT completed their review of the plans, we satisfied them, they gave us approval today to advertise that project. So, you need to advertise that for at least 3 weeks for construction, so you're going to need bids for contractors to build it. Along with that, you need to put out an RFQ for inspection services as part of the grant has money
hire somebody to do that, it will not be us, you'll hire somebody else to do that, that's, one of the stipulations of the grant. So those are the two advertisements you need to do now, where you're ready to do that, whenever y'all are ready. It's the construction advertisement and the RFQ sponsor.
We got that today, so yes.
Jim, do we need to go ahead and make a motion on that?
We do.
I'll make that motion that we go ahead and go with an RFQ on that and
The construction.
the construction advertisement on that.
I'll have a motion, Commissioner Thursby, a second, Commissioner Ashback. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Clay, will you, just for the public's knowledge, we mentioned what
The limit, yeah, it goes from, Highway 70, so it's Garrison Avenue, from Highway 71 by the post office to 16th Street. It's essentially gonna include, milling that road and resurfacing it. And, it's gonna be in the contract with all the millings get delivered out to John, at the city yard, so y'all can use them after you want. Just be decent their millings. But, they're milling 3 inches and resurfacing 3 inches. And, one of the layers of asphalt is, what we call open grade mix, and that'll help, deflect back some of that reflective cracking that typically comes through. So the cracks in the asphalt, you just want them overlaid with asphalt, those cracks will come back through, it's called reflective
This
cracking.
is what we talked
This
about,
will
got a
offset
set of
that.
pebbles in it.
Yeah,
It's got to be gravel that goes down in.
This will help offset that, so, from the post office to 16th Street to limits, the contract time is, I think, 90 or so days is what we're putting in there, so it'll be a 2 or 3 month project.
And part of that is any damage, replacement, whatever, to people's driveways. I mean, I know
There
it's
really
not-
shouldn't be a lot, because the road's not widening, but certainly if the contractor tears something up, yes, they would fix it. Some of the, concrete driveways are in that stretch of road, the edge of the concrete is out in the asphalt, so they'll have to come along with the edge of pavement asphalt and saw cut the concrete out, just because they can't build it up. But,
I understand.
there's no planned damage, so obviously any damage to driveways.
I know we'll have.
But is that something that we need to put in there, or is that something that's just
It's in
normally
there.
taken care
It's in
of? Okay,
It's
okay.
in there. It's in there. Just whenever
But that's
the traffic
because we
is
do
involved.
get away.
So, just so the board knows, too, we're gonna work with Clay from Public Works. We've got some work to do in this as he gets through this process, with the paving contracts. It's our plan is to try to keep that timeframe from where we have to do point of repairs to when his contract is ready to go to work as short as possible. That way there's less disruption that way, once we tear into it and make a hole. The boat ramp, Frank Bay boat ramp, we submitted the permit application to the Army Corps and DEP last meeting, so that's, they're going now, probably 30 days or something, we're back to those place. And keep working through the permit process. Let them really work on that
Clay, I know that, we've discussed this a lot, but we have discussed this a long time, but kind of like Brett said a while ago. Is this something you can kind of give the people, the public, what we're talking
Boat ramp.
about with the boat ramp?
Sure.
Because
Yes, sir.
this has been going on a long time, a
Sure.
lot of
The
people
city-
hadn't heard of it.
The city was awarded a grant, through FWC, and came through some of the BP funding, but it came through FWC to the city, so you have a grant from the city from the FWC, 860,000 roughly, something like that, to replace where the steel sheet piles are now on each other program, replace those with new sheet piles. And then build timber docks on the end of those sheet pile walls. I think it's 100 feet on the south side and 300 feet on the north side for a total of 400. The whole idea with that was, when that river gets congested, everybody launches and wants to unload, load and pull out all at the same time, so you need more staging area for people. And that was one way to accomplish that. So those are certainly the major items, in the project. And it would be the whole idea is to do this after voting season, because we'll tear some things up down there to do that. That's the gist of it.
All right, thanks.
And then, the keeper's quarters, I talked to the contractor today and also to Bo Grill. They're supposed to get together on, getting Bo whatever he needs to be satisfied on the work they've done down there. And so that should be, us in next week or so, we'll get all that figured out, what he needs documentation wise. He wants to inspect or whatever he wants to do, so I assume that would be next week or so. And then if there's anything in the meantime, I did talk
general cleanup down there and final touch-ups and all that. I don't think they've done all of that yet, because they're both voted on that first. But obviously, if there's any concern on any of that, over the next week or so, let us know, we'll pass that on.
GAC assured me they didn't have it back the way it looked before they started all that, so we, I think they will.
I believe we will. This way, this caused everybody a little bit of setback, so I think we do.
That was it, unless you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
All right. That was a third and fourth. Everybody still getting their reports every week?
I've had several phone calls with, people saying they got letters this week about signs, like the temporary signs that they're supposed to take them in, take them down every day. Do y'all know if that's something that's been done on just the corridor or the downtown area, because it's one of those.
Any off-premise signs?
Yeah, I've heard that, okay, well, some people are being told not to. And Jim, could you get, with Richie this week, to get me a copy of who was sent letters this week, because it's more than just one or two, if we're gonna enforce it, we need to enforce it with everyone.
Well, the issue's not just Reed Avenue, it's
No.
outside, it's right.
Right.
They all have Mount Road.
Right, and if somebody's trying to make a living, I'm not that hardcore against it.
And as I
Anyway,
say,
some people are.
Mornings I've been uptown checking on it, most of them will take it up, except for 3 or 4. You got about 3 or 4 that won't take theirs up, I'm with them, told to, but I know other people aren't taking theirs in at night. And I think they should take them in at night. You know, we're not supposed to have on-premise signs at all. I mean, that's our ordinance, our silence is none. So we're trying to help the businesses out, but they take advantage of it. So we just need to make them understand that we'll let them put the signs out, but please take them up and get closed.
But see, here's the thing with that, bud, is we're getting on to people for these little old signs, but then we got flags and all kinds of stuff that are advertising it's the same thing as a sign. So if we're gonna do it for one group, we need to do it for everybody, or we don't need to do it to anybody.
I agree. Everybody should take those in on at night. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything on the agenda tonight. I do have something I'd like to talk about. I have received several questions about T-shirt, Back to Blue T-shirt campaign that we did. We first started this, came up with this idea and started this, and in May, we had 200 T-shirts to give out, and we gave them out in less than 2 weeks. We had sponsors that called, wanted to sponsor the T-shirts, so we did it again. What it is, it's a basic T-shirt. On the front, it says, "In Fort St. Joe, we back the blue." And then 11 sponsors, local sponsors from around town, pitched in the money. Those sponsors, those 11, they gave $2,800. So this shirt costs, done here locally, $7 to print. So we got 400 shirts. All the sponsors got their shirts today. We have 100, a little over 100 that we're going to give to go into a presentation and give the after school program at the elementary school in September. But other than that, I had some questions about where the money came from, that sort of thing. It was all paid for. We're not selling the shirts. We're not taking money. They're free to any citizen that wants one. We just ask that if you support the police department, you wear it proudly. That's all I got.
I got something on that. I went to 2 or 3 events over the past month, and I have been bombarded. I'm not wanting to take anything from you, but do you have enough to where maybe you could give some, like the commissioners, a handful? Sure. Or is this something you would like for us? Because I would be all for us buying some of them if you needed the money. But people are wanting to wear them, they want to wear them proud, and I mean, where did you get your shirt? Where did you get your shirt? Where did you get your shirt? If you remember, I called you on that, so
Yes,
you need some
we had,
help.
and we had 200 that were gone
I
in
know.
about 8 days.
It's a hot item right now.
I don't know how many went today, but they won't be here long.
Right. But I would say that I think it's a great thing, and where the country is today with all that's going on in our community being the way they are about backing the blue, if you get to where you need some more, I think that the city commission would, sponsor the back of some more of those shirts.
I don't know about that.
Or what have you, let's come up with something.
We've had 3 businesses call today who want to be on the next one, so.
So,
Yeah,
got them all.
sometime, I mean, once they see all the other businesses on there, everybody wants to be a part of it.
Right, and I think that.
We'll do another one in 4 or 5 months, maybe after the first of the year, and we get 10 or 11 more sponsors, and
Do it again. I think it's a great idea, Matt. Thank you so much.
that's all I got. Michelle, got anything for me?
Thank you. All right, Ms. City Clerk.
Yes, sir, I have 2 items for you tonight. The first one is Ghost on the Coast. We're having calls wanting to know if we're going to do it. First Baptist Church is doing their fall festival also on Monday, October 31st from 5 until 8. Last year, we did both of these events at the same time. Since it's on a Monday this year, we're suggesting that we start the costume contest at 5:30 to allow parents who work time to run home, get their children ready, and come back. And if that's good with y'all, that's what we'll go ahead and let people know, that we are doing it on Monday, October the 31st, because that's traditionally when we have done it, is on the actual date, and go with 5:30.
That's a great event.
It is a great event.
Big wow. Franklin and Bay County.
And Miss Charlotte, if there's anything extra that you think of over the next week or 2 or something to help make this thing even a little more grand than it has been, I'm all for trying to help out any way we can. So let us know.
Okay, we'd like to still do the same divisions we did last year, 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 10. There's one for family or group and pets, and see if we can get the sponsors that we've had before to provide the trophies that we have used.
Ms. Charlotte, are you still accepting candy donations this year?
We will, yes, sir. City Hall will be the place you could drop them off.
Wes, can we get that in the paper where people can drop off candy?
And the second item would be Christmas on the Coast, Saturday, December 10th at 6 p.m. Lineup would be 5. We'd have judges, just like we've done in the past, and if that's good with y'all. That's when we've done it a couple years before.
Thank you, Miss Charlotte.
And I hope each of you will be available this year to ride in the parade, whether it's in a golf cart or what, but would appreciate your support in the parade.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. All right, any citizens to be heard tonight? Come on up, Ms. Lee.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lisa Matthews, and I have a question. Where are we on the pipes replacement for EF and G?
We are right now trying to figure that out. But we've got several sources we're looking at to get money from. Even looking at our public works department, maybe doing it themselves if we have to. The main thing I can tell you right now is we're committed to doing it, one way or another. It's going to get done.
But you don't know the beginning date yet.
No, ma'am.
I think every commissioner on this board is fully committed to it. I mean, we haven't lost out on the CDBG.
We're still making it.
There's still a possibility there. So that's.
Whether we do or whether we don't, we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get her done.
Okay. I just thought you guys had forgotten about it.
No, ma'am. That's right on the top of, I bet you, every one of our mind.
Okay. One more question, then I'll be finished. About the apartments. Where are we on that?
They closed today, so we're moving forward, and, I know that some people up there got a little bit antsy on it, and I have too at times, but we are closing today, and I think this thing's fixing to start steamrolling. We're fixing to start getting some apartments built.
You stole my thunder. I was gonna talk about that.
Oh, well, thank you, I bless you, and hopefully we'll start within the next couple of weeks.
Ms. Lisa, Rick Heyman yesterday said that it'd be about 3 to 4 weeks as their intended start date.
Okay, another month.
Another one.
Another
Can't
one.
just snap your fingers.
I was part of this when I was in the SHIP program. I'm just glad it wasn't a big waste of time.
Oh, so am I, yeah.
I'm actually going to see something now.
All right,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Anyone else? Anyone else in the book? All right, Mr. Thursday, we'll talk to you.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay.
department's closed today. That's all I have, Mayor.
That's it. Mr. Lowry.
I don't have
This was it.
two things, Mayor, the, historical grant for the Centennial Building. Last week, we've got some questions back from Tallahassee, and I think staff's answered all those questions, sent it back to them. So, that $500,000 grant is still out there moving along. I think we should know something by October. We'll hopefully for that. The other thing is we've got a AAA fall ball all-star team that's currently practicing at our AAA field. They're playing tournaments. Tickle to death. We've got kids out of the house away from video games and out actually doing something. And this is an organized thing too. But they played Mariana this past week, won first place. They got a trophy. They want to present it to the city. Their question was, what do we do with the trophies? We've gotten numerous trophies since I've been here. What do we do with them?
They sit in my office.
And so my thoughts was this, we can't build a trophy case in the lobby. It's just not, we don't have enough room in the whole city hall. My thoughts were this, if we get presented a trophy, we get a picture, we put the trophy in the lobby for a month. And then after that, we give it back to the team. And then that way, people coming in can see XYZ, one, whatever. Because we got the Little League and we got football and we got, the soccer and so forth. So we don't have room. We're proud of all our kids and what they do. And we want to display the trophies, but we can't do it permanently. So anyway, that's, glad to see we got things going on, getting ready to get Junior Outfield Football League, soccer getting ready to start again, so kids will be busy.
Yep.
Glad to see it. So that's all I've got.
That's it. Okay, I've just got a couple of things. On lights around town. I had a call today from a lady saying, from this stop sign going down that way, a lot of lights are on burning. Now, what do? We pay for these lights to be burning. I mean, Duke Energy charges. Can't we start marking these things down and say, hey, this one ain't burning?
Gotta call the county courthouse on those, man.
County courthouse.
But I will piggyback on the mayor. We've had a problem with Duke. Called numerous times on Hunter Circle, just for one example. The corner of Hunter and Garrison had a yellow tape around it for, I don't know how many months. But I don't know what we can do to get them to. I know the police department, when they're touring at night, they log them. They report them, and Duke's supposed to fix them. And that's, I don't know what we have to do to get their attention, but.
How do we report it? I know we submit ours online at the hotels, and it's about a week turnaround usually.
We do. The guys have really been good about it, going out about once a month, hanging your mask, so we've been trying to stay on top of it, but yes.
I think our guys are good about us getting the ones that are broke, but I don't think Duke's guys are getting the message. My point, is that something that would make, we should
following up.
Let's do that. We'll follow up to see
We
if
need to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And only one other thing. Friday night, first football game in Tallahassee. I will be there. I'll be there. Tallahassee is a kickoff classic, but still it's a game, and our kids are looking forward to going over there and playing on Friday. So anybody that can go and support our team, let's please do so. Absolutely. I need a motion to adjourn.
Yes, that's right.